And just tell me that you can see everything. Can we see? Can we hear? Perfect. Okay, so again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depends on where are you joining. I'm very, very glad to be here today and to do this kind of workshop, because this is one of my favorite workshops, to discover your work superpowers. I love this workshop very much because it can help you whether you want to pivot your career, go for a promotion, find a little bit more satisfaction at your work, increase your well-being, prevent burnout. This is a great start to see where we are, what we know, what we like to do, and how we can do more of the things that we enjoy. And I think this is also a great introduction, so you can keep working with your mentor and you can see different ways of how you can use more of the powers and your strengths at work, and you can do more of that. And I want to introduce a little bit myself, because many of you, I don't know you, and I think it would be also great to get to know me a little bit more, and I will get to know you a little bit better. So I am Chrysa for short. I am Greek, living for the past 8.5 years in Brussels. I have actually pivoted my career 3 times. I used to be a teacher, then I was working in a corporate as an advisor, and now for the past 2.5 years, I have my coaching business and practice. I have 2 companies, the Chrysology and the Growth Up, and it's very much based coaching oriented. And I do really enjoy to work with passionate and hyperactive people who try to find this career satisfaction, career clarity. Maybe they want to pivot their careers. And I like to do things on a fun way. So even if we get to do a little bit hardcore work, we're going to have some fun. I am a certified coach by the ICF. And yes, as I said, like, I feel like this was my calling, which I was searching for quite some time to find. And I would love to find your calling and to find your purpose, so you can get like this career satisfaction. So without further ado, what we're going to do today, and why actually do we need to be aware of our superpowers. And I call them superpowers because sometimes we get confused with the strengths. Actually, what we will be aware more about our superpowers, and we can get more clarity on who we are, what we know, how we can grow, and what are we equipped with. And of course, we are going to be more confident. How we're going to, Hannah just saw your message, so now I'm going exactly on what we will work on. So we can get more confidence. And I keep saying always this, I bring this metaphor in mind, always the trees. They are like really, they have strong roots down to earth, and they keep growing, and they have the branches and the leaves. We can get a lot of assertiveness. So the more concrete and aware and strong we are on our superpowers, we don't get hijacked about all these saboteurs and the imposter syndrome, because we know what we are good at and we have a proof of that. And then, of course, we get empowered. So feeling empowered also is very much linked with excitement, motivation, knowing we are strong, know we can take risks, know we can try new things, and it creates all this growth mindset, overcome fears. So this is why it's really, really important to know our work superpowers. So, I'm sorry. So this training has actually 4 parts. And I'm pretty sure many of you have seen this Ikigai Venn diagram, right? We are familiar with that. And this is one of the parts that we will work on the superpowers. It's part of my career bootcamp program. And I have developed this kind of methodology together with other mentor coaches, career advisors, and ergotherapists, so you can have a full holistic view on that. And we're going to dive deeper into the work superpowers, because we cannot do everything in 1 hour. And before we do that, I would like to see a little bit more like about you. So I have this poll created, and I would like a little bit to understand at which stage of your life you are right now. So if you are maybe like recent graduate or a student, maybe you're a young professional, so you have like 1 to 5 years working experience, maybe you're more senior. Okay, so we have, okay, none of those. And if you would like to just share in the chat. So we have the majority, I see you're more like senior level. We have quite some young professionals trying to pivot, fantastic, career transition, amazing. So we want to bring the whole training, it will be for everyone. Wherever you are at your stage, you take this part and you move forward. So it's not just specifically for the ones who have many years of experience. It doesn't, it is very much well for the ones who are recently graduated, or maybe they are still students. So you enter on the path, on the step that you are, and we move forward together. Fantastic. So we have the majority, I see, more than 5 years of experience. Okay. So are we ready? Do we have a pen and paper that we would like, if you can, just, I would really like you to write things. I know you might be a little bit more high tech, so you type things into the PC, but I think the power of the hand and the paper and the pen is like a little bit like this school has a different dynamic. So how we're going to identify our superpowers. We will start uncovering the skills behind each experience and understand what really means. I am a business analyst. I am a teacher. I am a trainer. I am an event manager. Sometimes we stick to the titles and we don't go a little bit further than that. We're going to identify the skills that we like to use. I keep bringing the example just because I love cooking. I do, but that doesn't mean I want to become a chef. So being able to actually choose the skills that you do like to use, say, hey, these are the ones I really do enjoy and I want to do more of this. It's really, really important. Third thing is, like, by revisiting our career journey, we get a little bit more conscious. I'm coming from a person who had pivoted the career 3 times and going to completely different fields. I was always thinking sometimes, oh my God, Chrysa, now you're going to do something completely different. Starts from scratch, starts from zero. And that's not really true, because the skills that we get and how we build ourselves, and once we understand all the skills that we have, it's very easy to see in each transition we want to do how easier it can be many times. Easy, nothing is easy. Okay, and the last thing is, while we talk about our self-empowerment, which is important, the point is where we are trying to explain what we do and to give to others to understand the great qualities that we have, right? And sometimes we can get great insights from other people. So we're going to have, again, a full holistic view on all of the things that we do. So how we're going to do that, let's see a specific example. So as I said, no matter in which part of your life you are, whether you have few years of experiences, whether you have many, where we are going to focus is like whether you have work experience, education, volunteering, certificates, the school of life, as I keep saying, some self-learnings, hobbies. We get skills from everything. And I have 2 examples here just to demonstrate a little bit. I used to be a teacher, so I took this example. So I used to be a teacher. Some of the skills that I learned: active listening, how to prepare a curriculum, get the subject, class management. I was teaching like high school kids, so there were different backgrounds, cultures, needs. So these were some of the transferable skills that I take in my everyday life. Managing and motivating people. Do you follow me so far? Any questions? I'm seeing the ones that I can see with the camera, but I keep an eye on the chat also. So if something is not clear, you let me know. It can get a little bit complicated, but once we understand, it's very easy. And then I have another example here. I used to do Taekwondo. Okay, so what do you learn from Taekwondo? Okay, yes, Chrysa will learn how to kick some ass and all these kind of things. But what you learn also is discipline, to have this unstoppable mindset, to be patient, right? These are the skills that you can take out of a hobby. And why I use this broad spectrum of example, because once you get the methodology, then you can apply it in every aspect of your life, because we get skills out of everything we do. And we're gonna do, everyone will select, let's say, an example of the now. So what you're doing now. So what is your actual title at this moment? And I'm gonna give you some time to do that. I just need to explain a little bit further. And then we're gonna try to stretch it and to uncover what we are learning out of this title. What are you learning of your current role? What are you learning from your current studies? And for example, a teacher, critical thinking, right, could be a skill. A critical thinking could be from a teacher who crafts a curriculum to fit the unique needs of the students, right? Critical thinking could be from a data scientist who asks original questions of the data set. It could be from an HR who asks important questions to ensure that the new hiring matches the team and the company needs. No problem, Maria, welcome. Yes, it's being recorded, so no problem, we just started. Right? Maybe the management. The management can include as a skill a parent who needs to plan, schedule, and juggle all these kind of responsibilities, right? Or it could be from a shift leader who just try to ensure that the team understands the new task and what are they doing. So I want you really to uncover these kind of skills. And I have like some transferable skills as an example here, like researching, quick learner, public speaking, conflict resolution, communications with. So I would like now to give you some moments, if you don't have any questions. And I would like you to do a little bit of your own, take your title or take your current studies or take your current role. And I want you to uncover the things that you're doing in your actual job and how you can have some transferable skills from that. I will leave it here. Maybe it's easier to see some examples. Is that easier for everyone to leave this slide? Yeah. So I give few minutes. Yes, I'll try to time it because we don't want to overthink. We want to go a little bit with our instinct and like more on a flow. So I'm gonna give you 5 minutes to do that. I'm gonna be checking the chat if you have any questions. And if somebody wants to share or feel free to do so. How easy or not easy is that? Is it okay? Thumbs up, I see. Okay, and I'm gonna challenge you a little bit more. So let's say you work on the L&D. I'm gonna take this assumption, most of you. Okay, so you do like analysis, you do like KPIs, you do all these kind of things, following up, talking to people, right? Take this and explain, okay, managing, for example, KPIs or having these measurement results. What skills are you learning? Evaluating, probably, like being able to have critical thinking, to see what is needed, what is missing, kind of have this like finding the missing gap. Of course, communications, being able to communicate with people, to understand the needs, to be there. Maybe you might be empathetic. So these are all the skills that we want to cover. And write as many things as you can. Don't overthink it. Don't be like, but I don't do that so much, or maybe it's not the right word. Why this is important? I mean, I keep talking and you can keep working or ignoring me or listening to me. I'm just adding some ideas here. When we want to pivot our career, when we want to go for that promotion, when we want to go and do the next career step, everything is important on how we present it. I was keep saying when I came with my teacher's degree here in Brussels, I was telling my teaching skill as a project management, because for me, it was managing people, like expectations, different cultures, like having different deadlines, evaluations, all these kind of things. Sometimes people were like, I don't see that because I see a teacher and you're applying for a project management position. And that is fine. But sometimes people were like, you know what, you're right. And I want a person with these skills. So the more clear we have it in our heads, the more confident, assertive, and we know where we are going and what we are asking. And people perceive this confidence and strength and empowerment that we have. That's why it's important to know what are our superpowers. Are we good? Thumbs up. Do we have some things written? Do we have any questions? Now, the next exercise is one I really, really like. The compliment wheel. So we don't want to be humble here. We take a deep breath and we remember all these beautiful things that people have told us. And I know many times we might feel a little bit uncomfortable when we receive a compliment. But right this moment, I want to really like brag about how amazing and awesome you all are. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes and to write down compliments that you have received. Maybe from colleagues, maybe from friends, maybe from our managers or our leaders. Maybe they tell you, oh, you know what? I see now, Jennifer, you're so calm and you're so patient. That is amazing. Or maybe they say to Corina, oh my God, you have such an eye for detail. I'm just taking all of you now that I can see. And this is amazing. Or maybe they say, hey, Joey, you are like amazing with the deadlines. Just try to reflect on all this positive feedback that you have received and the compliment that you have received. And I give you 2 minutes. And if somebody feels like sharing some of the compliments, that would be amazing. You can drop one compliment that you have received in the chat. Okay, that's amazing that people feel safe discussing things. So creating this safe space and psychological safety, it's very nice compliment to have. Good listener, that's a fantastic skill, Karina. You're really professional. Good at explaining things. It's amazing. Creative. How does it feel a little bit writing down about all the compliments? Agile, collaborative. Yes. How do you feel when you write these things down? You feeling a little bit uncomfortable, or you're like, good job, like Chrysa, nice, good one. How do we feel? Uncomfortable. Yes. Knowledgeable, just fine. So whatever that feels, let it just sink in. You don't have to. Maybe you receive a compliment that you're like, I don't think so. Just let it. Just write it down. Perfect. Okay. And giving of my time. Nice. Very nice. So, as I said, this is the methodology. How I normally do this exercise when you have a lot of time, you start writing down all of the skills. Like you have a current role right now, but maybe you had a previous job before, and maybe you had like, you put a little bit of trainings and all this school of life and all these kind of things. No problem, Claire. So this is the methodology I keep saying. So this exercise, you can do it together with your mentor and you can uncover even more, or you can do it on your own time and do like more of the things and write everything down. This is really up to you. But I want you really to understand the methodology of uncovering out of its title and everything we do on automation on our day-to-day business, what we get out of that as a skill and how we change these skills us as a person. So out of all these things that you wrote down on your list, the compliments, the things out of your skills, I want you to circle the ones that you actually enjoy doing. And I can give you actually a personal example. I am excellent on keeping deadlines, especially in my previous work. Like I had to give, like to chase everyone. I was giving everyone different deadlines because sometimes, some colleagues, they're not very punctual. So everybody had a different deadline. Not even my own boss knew when is the actual deadline. Yes, I was very good at it, but then I was hating it. I didn't like to just being this uptight person chasing everyone. Hey, you need to do this, keeping different deadlines for everyone, trying to be proactive on anything, on everything. So for example, if I would be doing the exercise, that would be a part of the skills that I have very strongly, but I'm not enjoying it. So in that case, I wouldn't circle it. And maybe you have another skill which you are like, maybe you're take one of these things like, I'm a great listener, I'm great with people, I am very agile, I'm very collaborative, but maybe your work has not to do so much with the people, and maybe it's behind the desk and doing a little bit something different. So in that case, I want you to circle the ones that you really enjoy, and then we will see how we can use them more. What is the thing that you do that gets you excited and you're like, yes, I'm gonna go to work to use these superpowers? So I want some thumbs up if you have like at least circled 2 things, for example. No thumbs up, it means we didn't circle anything or we circled more than 2. Talk to me, what are you struggling? Is there something that, 4, very nice. Are we good? Do we have any questions? Something that is like, I can pause the recording and you can share with me if you want. Just let me know in the chat if somebody wants to share. We're doing this exercise together. So if you feel like you miss something or something is not very clear or there is some resistance, we work on that.
Maybe I have a very small struggle.
Please, do you want me to pause 1 second?
Oh, no, it's fine. Okay. So I first wrote what I did, which was being a trainer for an NGO. And for 7 years, then I I listed the skills that I learned. But then I didn't manage to find anything specific that is a transferable skill, because most of the things I did are by nature transferable. So the ability to facilitate, to be an instructional designer, those kind of things. So I have at the moment the job that I was doing and the list of skills, but I have nothing on the 3rd column at the moment because I think that everything could move there.
Okay, great. So facilitator, one thing that you can ask, what does this mean?
To be able to control a conversation, make people come up with their ideas and discuss without jumping at each other's throat, coming up with the work for a common goal.
So these are the more, let's say, transferable, explained skills. Because if you come to a person, let's say, I don't know what you do, and you tell me I'm a facilitator, I'm going to be looking at you and I'm going to be like, okay, For some people might be like event manager,
Mhm.
because I had a specific conversation on that. For some people might be like something else. For some people might be like more like a therapist. Everybody has an own idea of what things are. So by transfer, like maybe a good example would be, how would you explain to a 10-year-old what this task means? And as you said, the ability to create a safe space where everybody can share, not being hijacked. Everybody has its own space, understand each other, or maybe like summarize conversations. These are the amazing skills that you bring on the table. And this is what it means being a facilitator.
Okay, so we just break it down into smaller chunks
Yes.
because it could mean different things to different people.
Yes,
All
exactly.
right, thank you.
No, you're very welcome. So if anyone else had this, like, okay, but I do this, I manage people. The question is, what do you mean by that? Or how would you explain that to a 10-year-old? Okay? Good. Okay, see the faces that I see? Nothing. Check the chat, so no more questions. Okay, so I'm moving on. So now, I want to check with you, and we're going to go to the second poll. And I want to see how often do you feel you're using the skills that you circled, these superpowers. Sometimes, often, every day, sometimes. For me, for example, when I did this exercise, it was rarely. Like I was a very creative people's person and sad, but I was doing a very like behind the desk work on my day to day. So it was very rarely. I felt like at the point I'm losing my skills, for example. Or the things that I wanted to do more, I couldn't get to do them very often. So it was like less and less. Okay, we have sometimes and often. That's amazing. That's amazing, guys. You see, you're still filling in. Okay. Which is great. It's important to use these skills. And the more you uncover and you understand exactly what that you love doing and what you really enjoy. So I'm going to take your example, Giuseppe, facilitator. Maybe you uncover all this, but maybe out of all these 5 things that you have as a facilitator, what you really enjoy is connecting with people, and you don't enjoy all the other 4 elements around. So the more you uncover, the more you understand, and the more you put like, okay, this is what I really love, and this is what is not my favorite thing, the more clear it will be for you. So I would like to see in the chat some of these superpowers. If we have Marvel fans, we know, like, Iron Man is like superpower is 1, 2, 3. Like Captain America has this, like Hulk has this. So if we ask, for example, Matthew, Jennifer, Zoe, Alexandra, what is your superpower? Eagle's eye, nice. Connecting with people, connector between people's project, creating collaboration. That is fantastic. Empowering people. Okay. Yes. Discipline. Discussing problems, find solution oriented. Very nice. Problem solver, creative thinking. These are fantastic skills. Creative, explaining things, critical troubleshooter, amazing. And this is sometimes when we are being recalled. Sometimes, let's say, I'm going to take an example to demonstrate. We want to go for this promotion. And sometimes when we go a little bit out of the comfort zone, imposter kicks in, and I'm like, new position. I don't know how to be a manager, or I don't know how to lead that team, or this is a very new project. and you get like all this feeling here of feeling like a little bit uncomfortable, or maybe you want to change a position, or you want to transit your career, and you start thinking on all this negative loophole, okay? And this is the point where I want you to reconnect with your superpowers, okay? Hey, but my superpower is critical thinking, but my superpowers is like troubleshooting. So I see it as a trouble. For example, Chrysa is struggling with this new position. How can I tackle it? I know how to tackle it because that's my superpower. Being creative, you know, the moments that you feel like, but what if I don't succeed very much in that? That is the moment where you need to recall your superpower. Okay, so this is the part where I want you to just keep using it. You're very welcome, Liz, and to be recalled when needed. And with that, if you are like all comfortable and you're sitting and you're not driving somewhere or you're not commuting, I would really like to do with you like a visualization exercise. So if you feel comfortable, you can just close your eyes and get comfortable in the chair. If you want to keep your eyes open, that's also fantastic. But the thing is with the visualization, the funny thing with the brain is that doesn't really recognize the difference between visualizing something or if it is really happening. I mean, whether you do it or you're not doing it. That's why visualization is very powerful. And I would like to just take a few seconds, just take some deep breaths. Get comfortable in the chair. Close your eyes, or you can also put your camera off, do what feels comfortable. And I want you to start breathing a little bit more deeply. And I want you to visualize a place where you feel content and calm. This might be somewhere where you visited, or maybe it's a imagine scene of somewhere where you would like to go. And I really want you to see these superpowers that you shared written in front of you in words. Result oriented, eye for detail, troubleshooter, empathetic, connecting with people. You see these words in front of you floating. And I want you to see yourself moving closer to these words, opening your hand and grabbing them. As you grab them, they enter inside you, and you're having these superpowers, and you start using them into the maximum. What is the first thing that you do when you get that superpower? See it. Maybe you're struggling a little bit with this vision in front of you, and maybe there are just scenes coming in and then leaving. That's absolutely fine. How are you using them? And how do you fight the obstacles that they are coming on the way? Maybe some doubts come, like, you cannot do that. This won't work. Try to combat this thoughts with a little bit more positive mantra. I can do this. I have the strength to keep trying. I've done this before. Focus on your breathing always. And on your mantra, on this visual, positive self-talk. Take a deep breath. And when you feel ready, you can leave your amazing vision and you can come back. How do you feel? Maybe if 1, 2 people would like to share. Maybe you can tell me I couldn't do it. It's not really working for me. Or maybe nothing changed. Or maybe something shifted. Recharged. Empowered. Did with someone didn't work, for example. Okay.
It didn't work at the grabbing part. It's where I was
Okay.
mixing the, imagining a real place where I was actually there, and then text appearing on the front, and there I kind of got out of it.
Okay. But that is fantastic. Not everything works with everyone. And now we're going to see a little bit different ways of how you take the one that matches with you. Not everything works with everyone. I give you a variety of tools. Take the ones they feel more comfortable to you. They're working with you. Maybe you can just, sometimes it's just about trying things around. Maybe you couldn't see the words, but maybe if I would go like, hey, here is a stone if you're in the beach, and grabbing this stone, it represents this. Everyone has a different way. Yes. And it's sometimes hard when you're feeling stressed and tired. And that is the beautiful thing with breathing. I keep saying, because we need to have a purpose of why we do things. Everybody talks about being mindful, yoga, all these kind of things. But if we don't know how to use this, it's a little bit pointless. Breathing, it doesn't make the problems go away. Problems are still there. But regulating your breathing, it calms the nervous system. It allows the brain to get more oxygen. And then you can tackle the problem, which will still be there, more positively with clear head. That is all it does. It just regulates the breathing. And maybe you can have this choice of like revisiting this place any moment you need to. So now I would like to give you 3 different ways how we can anchor like this kind of, let's say, emotions, thoughts, the superpowers, And okay, are we willing to try these 3 different ways? We try, and then you keep the one that you really want. Okay, so we're going to start with one small embodiment exercise, because the way the body posture physiology is like really important and affect our emotions and our thoughts. So I would like to invite you all, the ones that you can, again, not driving, like standing. I can see the ones I can see, so I would like to really invite you to just stand up. We're not going to do something crazy. So I want you to stand up and take a statue posture, which is a superhero. I'm pretty sure many of you know. So if you take this space, if we do this, we open a little bit the feet and we're putting our hands here. This is the superhero posture, which is held with confidence, and it empowers and affects our emotions and our thoughts. So standing there and taking a big deep breath, letting go all of the negative thinking as you exhale, it helps the body take the right attitude that you want to have. Maybe this is a superhero pose, or this could be a superhero pose. Do what you like to do. Okay, that is a great way. You can sit down. Thank you for trying this exercise with me. So the body is very, very important to be aligned with our thoughts and our feelings. Okay. But maybe you don't like using your body right now. Maybe you like drawing. So I'm gonna ask you to take a small piece of paper. I want you to draw your superpower. Just draw. I'm gonna stop sharing so I can all see you. So you can just draw your superpower, whether it's like a drawing, whether it's words. Maybe they are just words. Maybe it's just like a sun representing how like open and warm you are. Maybe it's the eagle. Maybe it's an eye, the eye for the details. Just draw something, and I will do that with you. So you have 1 minute without overthinking, 1 minute with a timer to draw that. Do we have a drawing? Also, if you have a drawing and you're off camera, maybe you would like to put your camera on for 1 second and we can all share our drawings. If you feel like. It doesn't need to be where we're not taking it to some like museum or something. Do we have a drawing, guys? No. Just something like instinctively, Alexandra, I see your face like, so. Let's say if your superpower was like, let me just being at peace, maybe just what represent peace? Maybe it's the sea, maybe it's like a flower, maybe it's a garden. Like results, maybe, I don't know, use your fantasy.
Well, the first obstacle is that I'm very bad at drawing.
Okay, this is not an obstacle. Again, it's not gonna go to any exhibition. I'm gonna share my drawing to make it a little bit less. So this is supposed to be a fire. Okay. So, I mean, you see, there's not something basic like this. So the fire, that's for me, like, you know, the community that people sit around the fire and brings people together and sharing and all these things, like creating a safe space. For someone else, fire is just like something worse, like that, you know, like very negatively charged. But this is your drawing and what it can represent your superpower. So maybe I see here Corina, Zoe, Jennifer, Matthew, Elena, do you have a drawing? Maybe you would like to share?
I don't know if you can see it, but it's a tree. Not the best
Okay.
version of a tree, but people tell me I'm calm and composed, and this is what came to mind.
Very nice. I like also, I see Giuseppe's. Very nice. Can I ask you to put your like drawing and I can take you a picture just with your drawings? Put them in front of the camera. Amazing. Yeah, okay. I'm curious, Jennifer, I have to ask.
So I drew a dwarf jam because I really, really like to cook, and that is how I show people that I'm taking care of them, and I
Nice.
think that I'm good at taking care of people.
That's really nice. So it's amazing how everyone, like, there's a metaphor behind every drawing. And sometimes being able to be a little bit playful and creative is important. Okay? And so again, as I'm saying, like you keep using what is easy and interesting and useful for you. Oh, I love this also, Michaela. Very nice. Nice ideas and connections. Okay, I have to be honest, these are always one of my favorite exercise. You can see a little bit how the person thinks out of a draw. And I'm gonna go to the last part. Maybe you can select like a fictional character. I know it might sound silly, but silly and funny, what helps us like learn the best way. And we don't need to be serious with everything. So we really need to enjoy the whole process. So maybe you can select a fictional character that it can represent really your superpowers. Maybe it's like, doesn't need to be like a superhero. Maybe it's like from a film that you're watching, or maybe from a TV series. And you're like, okay, I like the skills that this person has. I feel like more relatable to this and such. So maybe this is an unconscious way to be reminded of your superpowers. That's the whole point. So do you have like, fun enough, like on this? I work a lot with the fictional characters on the saboteurs. And for example, going a little bit to this like, saboteur side, mine was like, I don't know if we have any Harry Potter fans here, but mine was like Dolores Umbridge. So it was like this perfectionist, like needs to be like this, like that. So being able to visualize my saboteur as a persona, it makes it easier to be externalized or internalize it. So I want the same thing to do with your superpowers. Maybe select like a character, whatever is more related to you, whatever works for you. And it doesn't need to be like so specific and have the exact things, or maybe it's not an L&D shaker. But maybe it's using some of the skills that you really love using. Okay, the good. You see, I love that. Prince of Gambit, Glenda, nice. Maybe Yoda. I love this. Okay, PP. Nice. So you see, sometimes just playing a little bit with our learning and anchoring these moments into different ways is really important. Hermione, fantastic. So, okay, great. We learn all this, and now take a moment, reflect, write down. I always advise to write down, but take some moments to reflect. What are 3 actions, tiny or maybe bigger, that you could do to use more of your superpowers? Tiny actions. Sometimes we are going, I'm gonna quit and I'll change the job. It doesn't need to be that. But maybe it's like, hey, after this, maybe I will allocate 1 hour to work more on this work superpowers. Maybe I will bring this topic to my mentor, and we're gonna try to discuss further on that. Maybe I will go to my manager and I will say, hey, I have this superpower. How can I do a little bit more on that every day? More public speaking. So a tiny action, I'm just giving some suggestions here that nobody actually asked me. But what a tiny action would be like, hey, maybe I can do in the next staff meeting a 10 minutes presentation. Because we might start thinking, oh my God, but now I need to go somewhere for work and represent the whole company. And maybe it doesn't need to be so big. It can start like with a tiny, small action. Thank you for sharing that. Yes. We tend to think big. And once we think big, then we get a little bit overwhelmed. And then we're going back to where we were. So as I'm always saying, we know how we eat an elephant, right? Do you know how to eat an elephant? Like 1 bite at a time. So tiny actions. Okay. And then while you're reflecting or writing, what would you need to achieve this action? I'm going to use your example now because you put it out there, like the public speaking. What would you need to achieve that? Maybe talking to a manager, right? Maybe this is one of the skills that you love using, but you're not so great at it, right? And maybe it's like taking maybe more like courses on public speaking. Or maybe I would need like to join some, I don't know, events. Maybe I would need to do a research. What are the resources, tools, people that you would need to help you achieve this tiny or bigger than tiny actions? And then I want you to reflect. This is a great basic coaching, let's say, methodology. It's always great to predict potential obstacles. So what could be a potential obstacle? You're very welcome. Enjoy, Hannah. Not having enough time. Okay. By sharing what could be a potential obstacle, we can try to find a way to overcome this. Great. Not having my manager support and space to use my superpower. So that might require to get creative. That might require to bring this topic to our mentor and can help us tackle that. because just because there is an obstacle, it doesn't mean inaction is the result. You are all like amazing people with great superpowers that you can tackle that. So maybe troubleshooting, you know, there is an obstacle. This is how I'm going to resolve it because that's my superpower. You're very, very welcome. And with that, I want to just share with you the last poll. And then I will open it for a few minutes for questions. So, can you see the last feedback poll? Yes. Some of you, yes. Some of you, no. Okay. Okay. So I want you to fill that in. If you have any questions, this is my email. I'm going to share also my LinkedIn, and then I'm going to stop the recording. So then we can just chat and talk for whatever you want.